All right. Let's get into it, baby. Let's talk about some of this cosmic knowledge, baby. We talking cosmic knowledge, man. These folks are stuck on the earth. We done went beyond the earth. Okay? We out here getting history of the cosmos, baby. Okay? We different over here. Different, all right? So yesterday, man, we talked about the Carians, okay? Now, if people don't understand, everything that I'm doing is in chronological order, okay? So first, I had to give y'all my perspective, my theory of God, which is my system of God portion, okay? And the system of God allows you to open your mind, expand your perspective on the idea that God created a lot of creation. God created a lot of creation between what we like. If you could imagine what God was in the beginning, right? And how much creation that God created between the beginning of God to this point now. It's unfathomable. It's unfathomable. So much creation has been created, okay? We can't even imagine how big the universe is. The universe so goddamn big, they had to come up with a term to explain the portion of the universe that they could see. So they can't even deal with the entirety of the universe. They can only deal with what they call the known universe. That's only a small portion of it, okay? And so I want people to understand that when you talk about God, bro, you're talking about something that's beyond that sometimes is beyond explanation. So you can't tell me aliens from other worlds don't exist, but then you believe in God. That don't add up. How can on one hand you believe in something that you can't see, something that you can't prove, and then on the other hand you telling us something else don't exist because you say you can't see it or you can't prove it? You get what I'm saying? This is why they say, when we talk about the Anunnaki, and we talk about beings from other worlds, you get these people, man, this don't exist. This ain't real. But shit, I can say the same thing to you about God. I can say the same thing because you can't prove God's existence. You don't got no physical solid proof. There's some circumstantial proof that exists. Okay? But there's no physical proof. There's no video proof. There's nothing that you can offer that can show us definitively that God exists, but we do know that there is an intelligent entity that's responsible for creation. Some call it God, some call it the source, some call it the universe, whatever you want to call it. There's an intelligent entity that's responsible for creation. Okay, so just like you can't physically show proof of that, I can show you more physical proof of the existence of the Anunnaki. I can show you more physical proof of the existence of extraterrestrials than I can of the actual God. So don't be so quick to discount what we be talking about over here. Don't be so quick to discount it, all right? So yeah, we're dealing with the cosmic history, okay? Not just Earth-based history, but the cosmic history and how we are connected to the cosmic story, okay? So we did the system of God. I explained to you that God has a lot of creation, okay? And these creations are much, much older than us. Everybody understand that? They are much, much older than us, much more spiritually evolved. These people have millions of years on us, if not billions. I want y'all to understand that when you wrap your mind around an entity. When we talk about the Carians, we talking about a group that's been around maybe 1 billion years, gang. I want y'all to understand that, okay? So let me just put up this picture of the Carians right quick. Like I was saying, when you're talking about these Carians, you're dealing with some beings that are 1 billion years older than us. You can't even wrap your mind, you can't even understand that, right? Like over 1 billion years, you damn sure gonna become God-like. We don't have 1 billion. Do y'all understand that humanity as it exists only is 250,000 years old? Right? Homo sapiens, us as Homo sapiens, we've only been Homo sapiens for about 250,000 years, give or take. I want y'all to understand that. So we ain't even got 500,000, we ain't even got 500,000 years as Homo sapiens. Okay, we got 250,000 years of Homo sapiens. This is how far we done made it. This is how far we done made it as Homo sapiens just in 250,000 years. So imagine how far you make it over 1 billion years. Okay? And then I want y'all to understand something. When you're looking at the Carians, imagine, man, if we saw a Carian on Earth, gang, we would be freaked out. We would be completely freaked out. Because not only is we talking about a lion-headed being, but we talking about a 20-foot tall lion head. Imagine that. Imagine looking up and seeing a motherfucker coming down the street 20 feet tall, looking like a lion from the neck up. You can't even wrap your mind around how wild that'll be for us. Okay? So yeah, these beings got a lot of time on us. They are much more spiritually advanced. They are much more technologically advanced. Hey, Ash, don't worry about it, my G. It's my bro. That's why we create an exclusive space, okay? The reason we created an exclusive space, because most of the people out there are not of the level of intelligence to even be in here. You know what I'm saying? That's why I told y'all, man, we are the 1%ers. If you in this class, you need to understand that you are now a 1%er. Okay? Only 1% of the people in this world even have a clue about this level of information. So that's why I be telling y'all, don't be looking for nobody to agree with you. Don't look for nobody to agree with you. Don't look for nobody to understand this information, because they don't, gang. They just don't. They don't understand it. They're not going to get it. All right? But like I was saying, we dealing with beings that are much, much older than us, much more advanced than us in every way. All right? So yesterday we spoke about our parent race, the Carians. First of all, let me make sure everybody can hear me. Give me a 1 in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly. Give me a 2 in the chat if we experiencing buffering. If there's any buffering, give me a 2. If everything is good, give me a 1. Okay, all good. All good. All right. I see we got, listen, I'm going to say this one more time, gang. This live stream is for UMF members, paid course members. If you are not a member of the UMF, if you are not a paid course member, there's a good chance that you will be blocked from this live. If you like my content and you don't want to be blocked from my page, remove yourself from the live. Okay? You need to be a member to be in here. Now, if you think you can remain in my live without being a member, sit tight. Watch what's going to happen. Okay? Become a member, and then you can come back and join us. Subscribe to the live. You can subscribe on this page. All right? Subscribe to the live. All right? But if you're not a member, I'm just telling you what's going to happen. All right? We got to get everybody on membership so we can switch to just subscriber-only lives. We got to get everybody on membership so we can do that. Anyway, so yesterday we spoke about our parent race, the Carians. I explained that these beings are much older and much more spiritually evolved, technologically and spiritually, by millions of years, if not billions. The universe is so large that we can only deal with it in quadrants. So, if possible, to divide it into 4s, the most we could focus on is our quadrant, known as the known universe. Remember when we discussed that about it being so huge, science can only perceive a portion of the universe because it's so big, right? So this is what they call the observable universe. This is not the whole universe. This is just a portion, okay? This is just a corner of it. If you want to do it like that, you can say maybe it's just a piece of it. But let's just, for all intents and purposes, let's just say that this is a portion, a corner section of the universe. And within that corner section of the universe, it has almost 2 trillion galaxies. Okay, so they say in what they call the observable universe, just the portion that they can perceive, it's 2 trillion galaxies in there. And if you know anything about constellation science, then you know that galaxies have about 400 to 500 million planetary bodies. So for every galaxy, it's 22 trillion galaxies. That's already too many right there. That's already unfathomable as itself. But in the 22 trillion galaxies, there's 400 to 500 million planetary bodies. That's a lot. Okay? And that's just in this portion that we can observe. All right? We don't know what the hell going on in the other quadrants, in the other sections of the universe. But for all intents and purposes, we're going to just focus on this quadrant. Okay? It is said that these beings manifested themselves into this universe from another universe. But I believe, along with another 5D species known as the Carians, these Lyrans and the Carians to be the oldest species of the known universe. These Carians, who are bird-like humanoid body beings, are all the creation of consciousness, which makes more sense. I'm sorry. These Carians, who are bird-like humanoid body beings, are all creation of consciousness. It is important to know that animal and insect life was the first creation, and from that, the first 3D beings were created. The Carians were the evolution of avians or birds. Okay? So what I want y'all to understand is these Carians, they evolved from a bird species. Okay? They evolved from a bird species. The Lyrans were the evolution of lions and felines in general. Carians and Lyrans were both the creation of consciousness. But just as we have a creator God that is centered on love and compassion and creation, we also have the duality to that, the opposite, the dark side. Okay, so just like I told y'all, the Lyrans were created by consciousness. The Lyrans and the Carians was created by consciousness, right? There's also the anti-consciousness that exists, right? So we got consciousness and we got anti-consciousness, or Christ and antichrist, okay? So today you're going to learn about the impact that antichrist had on certain creations, all right? Just as consciousness was created from the union of male electrical energy, you all good, Cat. You all good, my love. We got you. I just started. So you good. You good to go. Just as consciousness was created from the union of male electrical energy and feminine magnetic energy, the divine balance, there's also the birth of the unbalanced dark energy manifested from the trauma of the male energy. This trauma was caused by the separation of the magnetic energy from the electric energy. This separation caused the male to manifest from pure logic and thought with no feminine energy that brings love and compassion. Okay, so remember we learned this yesterday. The anti-consciousness was manifested from pure thought and logic devoid of love. Okay, it did not have the divine balance. It did not have the divine masculine and feminine balance. The result of this manifestation created was called the Ahriman by Zoroastrian religion. In our religion, we call him Lucifer. There's a big difference, I told y'all, in Lucifer and Satan. Okay, so we got to learn all that. The same way, folks think that Yahweh is God. Yahweh is not God. That's Enlil. You're going to learn all of that. You're going to learn all of that. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, y'all telling Cat about the battle. Yeah, Cat, we had another big battle, Cat. We had another big battle. Big battle. Ariston put the team on his back. Pink put the team on her back. All right? So shout out to them. Yeah, we had a big battle. The result of this manifestation created was called the Ahriman. Okay? So, like I say, in religion, we call him Lucifer. Lucifer is the father of evil, and Satan is the son. Okay? So watch this. Let me show y'all how this works. So consciousness would be the father of good, and Yeshua would be the son. Okay? So Yeshua and Satan is adversaries in the same way that Lucifer and consciousness is adversaries. Do y'all understand that? It's almost like the fathers got their sons fighting it out. It's like the fathers fought out a battle, and then the sons inherited that battle. Okay? So you got the Ahriman, and you got consciousness and anti-consciousness representing the Ahriman and representing the Ahriman, and you got you got Satan representing the son of Lucifer, as Yeshua would represent the son of consciousness. Okay? This week, I revealed to y'all that the Carians, after millions of years of evolution, had reached an advanced state of being that allowed them to create life by design. This is something all creation does when it reaches its highest level. The Carians wanted to expand their genetics, so they chose the reptiles on their planet to do the genetic experimentation on. Now, I'm kind of skipping a part because I didn't bring up the fact that they inhabited the planet of Orion in this universe. But on the planet of Orion, they chose the reptiles to do their genetic experimentation on, okay? So the first thing you need to know is that the Carians were more evolved. The Lyrans were more spiritually evolved than the Carians. Okay, so they had their ability to create was a little bit better than what the Carians were. Okay, the Carians wanted to expand their genetics, so they chose the reptiles on their planet to do genetic experimentation. The Carians left creation, but the Carians left their creation before they hatched. Okay, so this is very important. I want y'all to understand this. So the Carians moved to what we know now as Orion. Okay, and on the planet Orion, it was a very tropical world. Okay, and in this world was already seeded with a lot of different beings. Remember, I told y'all that the consciousness seeded all of these worlds. All of these worlds were seeded. So all of these worlds got life on them, that life that has evolved, okay, to many different types of creatures, okay? So one of the types of creatures on this Orion planet was the reptiles, okay? So the Carians, for whatever reason, they chose the reptiles to expand their genetics. Now, I don't know why. You know, that's some of that detailed information that we can only get from them, okay? Maybe the reptiles got a certain makeup, maybe they got a certain anatomy that that the Carians appreciated, okay? But we don't know exactly why they chose the reptiles, but they did, all right? So I'm moving kind of fast, but everybody get what I'm saying, right? So these Carians, they came into this universe the same way the Lyrans did. Right, and they found their home world being Orion. Orion was a tropical planet. Orion had a bunch of creatures already evolving on that planet. And out of all those groups of creatures, one of those groups were the reptiles, okay? And the Carians chose these reptiles to be the species to expand their genetics, okay? So after genetically manipulating these reptiles, the Carians left them as eggs. They didn't raise them the way the Lyrans did. Okay, so when the Lyrans created humanity, the Lyrans parented humanity. The Lyrans raised humanity, taught them things, and then they left. The Carians, I guess the Carians got ADHD or some shit. The Carians probably like them people who get involved in a project and then halfway in the project be like, oh, let me go find something else to do. Y'all get what I'm saying? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all understand what I'm saying. So the Carians left their project without properly rearing it. Okay, so they left these genetically altered reptiles. They left these genetically altered reptiles on Orion by themselves, okay? The Carians left the creation before it hatched. The cosmic story goes that the anti-consciousness stumbled upon these reptilian eggs and took them to the world of Alpha Draconis, where they were hatched and raised under the stewardship of anti-consciousness. So let's pump the brakes. So let's look at how this happened. So the Carians, like I told you, of anti-consciousness. So let's pump the brakes. So let's look at how this happened. So the Carians, like I told you, it's something going on with TikTok. I'm gonna definitely let them know, gang. Yeah, this is like the 7th time this shit didn't happen. I'm gonna definitely let them know, guys. I'm gonna let them know, because after live, they always ask me, did I have any trouble with the live? So I'm gonna let them know after today that live is basically rebooting itself. So this keep happening. So I'm gonna let them know, gang. Okay. Give me some ones in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly. TikTok is apparently on the fritz. So I gotta let them know that their system is not working. Okay, everybody good? Caused us our 32 game winning streak. Good thing we had a little streak over here. Okay. We got a clown in the room. Somebody, whoever that clown is, called Hollow. Somebody show that lame to them. Whoever that is, some lame named I don't know who that is. There you go. There you go. A little too excited, bro. A little too excited. We got to go. All right, we back. Let's get it. So like I was saying, here we go. The Carians took on this project of creating or expanding their genetics. Okay? The Carians took on this project of expanding their genetics. So they basically sold their genetic essence into these reptile beings. Okay? Now, when these reptiles were in the when the reptiles were still an egg unhatched, the Carians decided to just take off. Right? The Carians just decided to take off and leave their eggs unhatched, leave their creation unattended. So somehow, some way, anti-consciousness was skipping across the universe, and the anti-consciousness stumbled upon these unhatched eggs and decided to nurture these eggs. The Ahriman, anti-consciousness, took the eggs back to Draconis. Where they were hatched and raised under the stewardship of the Antichrist. All right. So the Antichrist or anti-consciousness took these eggs back to Alpha Draconis, where he raised them under his stewardship. Now, this explains two things. One, knowing the Carians were the original inhabitants of Orion, I didn't understand how the reptilians that we now call Draco, I didn't understand how the reptilians were called Draco. Now we know. So let me explain what I just said right quick. For a long time, we thought that the reptilians were exclusively from Draco, because that's why they call the Draco reptilians, right? But now, like I say, thanks to the Most High, we got updated information. We got new information. We got good information. We understand that there's more of a story to how they got to Draco. So this is the story of how the reptilians got to Draco. All right. So they were originally on Orion. All right. We got another idiot up in here called the Speed Racer. All right. And whoever the Speed Racer is, somebody show that idiot the dough. That's why he ain't got no live to hang out in, because don't nobody care about him. Bye, lame. Show that lame the dough. Go blow up your air mattress, bro. Blow your air mattress up. So, like I said, the reptiles' original home was Orion. That was their original home. And I'm not saying that they didn't exist on other worlds. I'm sure they existed. I'm sure these reptiles were on all different planets. But the ones on Orion is the ones that the Carians used for their genetic alteration. And so the Ahriman or anti-consciousness discovered these reptile eggs, and he took them to Draco. And this is how the reptilians get to Draco. So now we understand that. The Ahriman was devoid of compassion and love. So he raised them to be this way. All right. So now let's think about what we're saying here. Everybody that know anything about the reptilians know that they are an angry group, that they are very fierce, right? Very fierce, angry, all about enslavement, all about subjugation. So if you understand the negative connotations about the reptilians, it goes hand in hand with what we say about Satan or what we say about Lucifer, right? We say that Lucifer embodies evil. Lucifer is about negativity. So it would make sense that they was raised by this motherfucker. That makes perfect sense that they was raised by him. All right? The Ahriman was devoid of compassion and love, so he raised the reptilians to be this way as well. He taught them that it was their birthright to conquer and destroy. Also, he taught them that their creator abandoned them and that they should hate the creator. They should hate their creator for that. Okay? So if you remember, the reptilians were taught that they were the owners of the universe and that they had the right to conquer and destroy, subjugate and enslave any group that they wanted to. All right? So they were also taught that their creator abandoned them and that they should hate their creator for that, which led the reptilians to eventually attack its own creators, the Carians. All right, so that's the twist of this story. So check this out. The reptilians ended up warring with the Carians on some "you abandoned us," right? They ended up warring with the Carians. While the humanoid Lyrans loved and respected their parent race. Okay, so think about that. The reptilians hated their parent race for them. The humanoid Lyrans loved their parent race. Okay, so now we know how the seeds of hate was established in the Draco, and now the stage is set for these races to cross paths in Solaris. And when they did, it was cool at first. The Lyrans had been forewarned of other beings in the universe and that one day they would come calling. So when these reptiles showed up in Lyra, on Avion, the humans treated them with respect. The humans treated them as gods because they were taught that there were other beings that one day would show up that would have different abilities than them. Okay, so the humans treated these reptilians with respect. So, we covered a little bit of this yesterday, right? About, the first reptiles that visited the human worlds, that they basically was like the nice guys, okay? They were basically the good guys, right? These were explorers and scientists, right? They were not like the warrior caste. So if you're going to understand anything about the reptilians, you got to understand that the reptilians have a warrior caste and then they have a scientific caste. They got scientists, explorers, things of this nature, but they also got warriors. That's just all about a military nature, okay? So these scientists and explorers, reptilians, that came upon the humans on their world, when the humans met them, they embraced them with love and they treated them as gods. The Lyrans were an emotional, evolved spiritual group. They lived like the indigenous tribes of Earth, but they had the abilities that came from their higher evolved emotional bodies. They had some technology, but not as advanced, not as bodies. They had some technology, but not as advanced as the reptilians, who were more technologically evolved than spiritually or emotional. Okay, so we remember that. The reptilians got all the goddamn technology, right? So the Lyrans, they had some technology, but not on the levels of the reptilians, okay? So this is how the reptilians was able to get in. Remember what I told y'all yesterday? The reptilians came offering gifts, right? They came offering trinkets. And we always get caught slipping when somebody come offering us something. We always fall for it, all right? These reptilians offered to help the Lyrans with technology. If they would help the reptilians with becoming emotionally evolved. This help with emotional evolution included the reptilians breeding with the humanoid Lyrans. So another point, and I hope y'all taking notes on this stuff. So you remember the reptilians could not evolve in that way naturally. The only way the reptilians could evolve a more emotional body was by interbreeding with the humans. Okay? So they had to interbreed with the humans to develop these emotional bodies. All right? The reptilians all offered to help the Lyrians with technology if they would help the reptilians with emotional evolution. This help with emotional evolution included the reptilians breeding with humanoid Lyrians. For some time, they lived in peace. But the reptilians that had been living amongst the Lyrians were contacted by the Sealcar elites. Okay, the Sealcar elites is the Sealcar Empire. These are the warrior caste of the reptilians. All right, these guys right here. All right, these guys. So these guys right here, this would be the Sealcar. These would be the reptilian elites. Okay, the Draco warriors. So the scientists and explorer reptilians were contacted by this group on some, hey, what's up? What y'all got on my 40? You know what I'm saying? Hit them up like Debo, what you got on my 40? But the Sealcar, when they contacted the Sealcar, they was letting them know, like, hey man, this is what we got going on. There are other beings on this world, yada yada yada. The Sealcar said, don't say no more, we on the way. Say less, we on the way. For some time, they lived in peace, but the reptilians that had been living amongst the Lyrians were contacted by the Sealcar elites, in which they were found in contempt for violating the Prime Directive, which stated that reptilians should conquer and enslave other beings they came in contact with. Okay, so the Sealcar was kind of mad at the reptilians, the scientists and explorers, because they felt like, hey man, y'all should have already conquered them humans by now. What's taking so long? Like y'all in direct violation. Y'all should have already conquered them humans by now. Okay? The strategy of societal infiltration. Oh, I'm sorry, I went too far. For some time, they lived in peace, but the reptilians that had been living amongst the Lyrians were contacted by the Sealcar elites. They were found in contempt for violating the Prime Directive, which stated that reptilians should conquer and enslave other beings they came in contact with. But when the Sealcar arrived, they realized the reptilians had helped the humans with weaponry, and it would not be smart to outright attack them. So they employed a more strategic approach to conquer Lyra. Okay? So now we got the Sealcar showing up and getting ready to conquer the humans, but they realized that, oh shit, these dudes strapped up. Like we can't just jump in no war with them. We're gonna take a lot of losses. We might win, but we'll take a lot of losses. So the Sealcar decided to take a more strategic approach. The strategy of societal infiltration is what they chose. The Sealcar immersed itself amongst the humans, bred with them, infiltrated their government, and before you know it, the Sealcar had control of all the functioning parts of the Lyran society. Okay, same shit we experience on Earth. Same shit we experience on Earth with these pale skins, okay? And the Lyrans saw this and they did not like it. This is when the Lyrians proposed that the reptilians should leave their world and return to their own. So y'all remember this portion. This is the portion when the humans looked around and was like, hey man, these reptilians doing too much. These reptilians starting to own every goddamn thing around here. Now I want y'all to know something, guys. Watch this. Let me show y'all something. Hitler kind of felt like how the Lyrians felt. Hitler looked around and them goddamn Jews had took over everything in Germany. They had took over the banking institutions. They had took over the education system. Do y'all understand this? Yeah, I want y'all to know something. I'm using this correlation. I'm using this analogy because it lines directly up with it. Guys, they lied to y'all about Hitler. I'm telling you right now. I want y'all to know they lied to y'all about Hitler. Everything y'all learned about Hitler was a fucking lie. That dude looked around and he saw that them damn Jews, them people that we call the fake Hebrew Israelites, okay? Hitler looked around and he saw that these folks had infiltrated every part of German society. This the same shit that the reptilians did. And didn't I tell y'all the reptilians is the father of the Jews? Y'all starting to see the connections now? This is who the reptilians are. This is who the Ews pray to. The Ews don't pray to the God we pray to. They pray to the reptilians. All this can be proven. All this can be proven. I think I've shown y'all enough proof on them fake Ews, but I don't mind doing more. Okay? So this is who their God is. This is who they serve. All right? So the Ews employed the same strategy that the reptilians employed. Do y'all think this is a coincidence? Do y'all think it's a coincidence that the Ews employ them same strategies when they want to take something over? Same shit they did in the United States. The United States was a little bit of an easier takeover for them. Same shit. So that's why I be wanting y'all to understand. That's why I told y'all I was going to show y'all who was the father of these pale races. Who was the creator of these pale races. And as you can see, these pale races, they basically implement the same strategy that the reptilians implement. Give me a 2 in the chat if you understand it. If you understand that white folks are implementing these same strategies amongst the indigenous people of this world in the same way the reptilians implemented it upon the indigenous people of Lyra. The same. So the Carians immersed itself amongst the humans, bred with them, infiltrated their government. Before you know it, the Carians had control of all functioning parts of Lyran society. Before you know it, the Jews had control of all functioning parts of American society. This is when the Lyrans proposed that the reptilians had to leave their world and return to their own. That's when Hitler proposed that them Jews had to leave Germany and return to their own land. Same shit. Same shit. And who did I tell y'all Hitler was looking for? And who did I tell y'all Hitler was searching for? The what race? They got y'all out here talking about Hitler was searching for the Aryan race. No, that ain't what that word mean. That ain't what that word is saying. Hitler was searching for the Orion race. Hitler was searching for the Orion race. We pronounce it Aryan, but the real word is Orion. If you write A-R-A-Y-A-N and you look at it, you can clearly see that can be pronounced Orion. A lot of the shit that we pronounce today is the wrong pronunciation of these words. They lose their value in translation, okay? So when you talk about the Orion race, know that Hitler was looking for the Orion. That's who he was looking for. So the Lyran said that y'all got to get the hell up out of here. The Lyran said the reptilians had to go. This was met with resistance that led to spats, and then spats led to all-out war. The humans, feeling like they were left with no choice, fired the first shots. But this attack is met swiftly and aggressively by the Carians, in which they launched a mega bomb that blew apart the humans' homeworld of Avian. So, we're talking about the migration. We're talking about after the humans' homeworld was blown to bits. After the humans' homeworld was blown to bits by the reptilians, the humans were able to migrate out. I want y'all to remember something. Do y'all remember the story? Do y'all remember like the story of Superman? Y'all remember in the Superman movie that the planet Krypton was under attack. And the people had to leave. The people were leaving in pods, and they put Superman in a pod and sent Superman to Earth. Give me a 3 in the chat if y'all remember that. If y'all remember that from the Superman story. Okay, Krypton was under attack, and Krypton was about to be blown to bits, and all of the people start migrating out. Okay. Here we go. These movies, man, they have some origin somewhere, bro. I'm telling y'all, listen, these movies have some origin somewhere. Superman ain't just drop out the sky. No pun intended. All right. So anyway, here's the planet Lyra. Okay. I'm sorry. Lyra is a star system with a bunch of planetary bodies in it. Okay. So there's a difference between like Lyra would be like a country, and the planetary bodies within Lyra would be like the cities. Y'all, everybody understand that? Okay, so this is Lyra, right here, this box. Okay? So the human's home world of Avion was within this box. So when Avion was blown to bits by the people that came from here, okay, that's the Draco, this is the Draco star system that's right outside of our galaxy. Okay, here's Draco up here. Here's so the humans, all of these blue strips are places that the humans went to. Take you to all the planetary bodies that the refugees went to when the humans left Avion. Okay, so they left Avion. Some of them went to Altair. Some of them went to Sirius. Some of them went to Orion. All right, and look at the bottom. Y'all might not can't see it, but this arrow goes down to Earth. Look at the very left, at the left bottom of the page. Y'all see that arrow pointing to that blue dot? It's like the top of the blue dot. You can only see a quarter of it. Can y'all see it? Give me some threes in the chat if you can see that blue dot. If you can see that. Okay, so follow this arrow. Follow my finger all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. Boom. Earth, my people. That's Earth. Okay? So the Lyrans traveled to Earth as well. Oh, y'all want to hear about that? Yeah, they was on Earth. The Lyrans, a long time ago, way long before way long before the Anunnaki got here. Okay? They was on this planet when it was called Tiamat. Right? So, you know, that's the story of Lemuria. Okay? If you want to hear about the story of Lemuria, I know some of y'all have heard about Mu before. For y'all too. I'm going to reboot that and get that information because I know a lot of people know about Lemuria. A lot of people know about Mu, but people don't know the real true story behind it. The first inhabitants of Mu was the Lyrans and the Reptilians. Okay? Anyway, so these are all the places they went to. Okay? They went to the Orion system. They went to Sirius. Here goes Sirius right here. All right? That's where the Anunnaki were born. The Anunnaki come from here. Okay? The Anunnaki is a royal race of half humanoid Lyrans and half reptilians. Okay, so we're about to get into all of that stuff, all right? So these are all the places that these humanoid Lyrans went to escape that war, to escape that, to escape the destruction of their planet. This was a terrible loss for the humans. Some were able to escape and sought refuge in the worlds of Sirius and Orion. It was in Sirius that the Lyrans would meet other beings oppressed by the Seakar. With these groups, they would eventually form the Galactic Federation of Orion. Okay, so when the humans went to Sirius and went to Orion, they ran into other groups that had been oppressed by the reptilians. Okay? So the humans ran into other beings, different beings, all right? And these beings was like, hey man, we got smoke with them too. They was like, the reptilians fucking with y'all? Yeah, bro, they fucking with us too. We need to click up. We need to click up and fight them. And that's what they did, gang. And that's how the Galactic Federation of Planets was born. Give me a 5 in the chat if you ever heard of the Galactic Federation of Planets. Give me a 5 in the chat if you ever heard of it. They made a movie about it. Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy. They made a movie about it. They made a bunch of movies about it. Shit. Star Trek. What you mean? What you think Starfleet is? Starfleet is a part of the Galactic Federation. On Star Trek. Yeah, come on with it, man. They putting that shit right in y'all face, man. Let me tell y'all what they doing. Creation's story is so amazing that they've been able to sell it to y'all as fiction. It is so profitable that they took the truth and they sold it to y'all as fiction. And they making billions of dollars off of that shit. They making billions. And I can see how. Because when I learned all this information, I say, damn, this information gonna be valuable to some people. There gonna be some people who find this information very valuable. So anyway, that's how the Galactic Federation was born. The humans ran up on other beings that had been oppressed by the reptilians, and they said, hey man, let's get together and slide on these niggas. Let's click up. These groups consisted of the Arcturians, the Andromedans, Pleiadians, but also reptilians. Remember I told y'all, all reptilians wasn't bad. All reptilians are not of the Siakar Empire. There were reptilians in Orion that the anti-consciousness didn't take the Draco. So the reptilians that was on Orion that developed naturally, they good guys. It's the ones from Draco, it's the ones that was raised by anti-consciousness that we have to worry about. But you just got to realize that it's some good. That's what I always tell y'all about white folks. I tell y'all the same thing about white folks. I say, I know that they got a lot of hatred on their side, but there's some good folks out there, some good white folks out there. Shit, my best friend, one of them. My best friend, one of them, all right? So, just like I'm telling y'all, the reptilians are a very fierce group, there's also some good reptilians as well, okay? So, this is how the Galactic Federation of Planets, this is how the Galactic Federation was born. They ran into some other beings that were oppressed by these reptilians, and they say, man, we got to get together to fight these dudes. We must remember that the first wave of reptilians lived in peace with the Lyrians. These reptilians actually opposed the Siakar ruling elite. Leading this group was the beautiful Tiamat, the dragon queen of Orion. Okay, so here we go. Listen up, because this is what we headed to. So now the humans that linked up with all these other beings, then they got together, they said, we're gonna make our own gang. We're gonna call it the Galactic Federation of Planets. And to lead the Galactic Federation of Planet, we're going to tap Queen Tiamat. She was the dragon queen of Orion. So this was one of the good reptilians. Queen Tiamat. Let me show y'all the beautiful Queen Tiamat. Do not let these pale skins fool y'all, guys. We the people of the cosmos. This is the Queen Tiamat. This is a rendition of Queen Tiamat. Okay? Now, the person that made this is not a melanated person. So why would they show Queen Tiamat as being melanated? Just like, let me tell y'all something. The white folks love this information. White folks gonna tell you that the Pleiadians was white. They gonna tell you that the Arcturians was white. That's bullshit. Them folks, when we talk about them folks being white, they not pale skin. Them folks is this color white. Like snow. Nothing to do with pale skins. Nothing to do. Totally different genetics. Because the pale skins are not a divine race. They ain't got no divinity in them. They ain't got no divinity in them. So when I tell y'all we were the first humans, the melanated people were the first humanoid race. And if you look at us today, it makes perfect sense. This is why we have all of these innate abilities. We haven't even scratched the surface of the abilities that we have. The white man ain't got these kind of abilities. The white man don't got the kind of abilities we got. The white man don't got the kind of love and compassion that we got. He's devoid of love and compassion because he comes from the reptilians, okay? From the Draco reptilians, not from the good reptilians, okay? So this is Queen Tiamat, okay? Queen Tiamat, she was a real boss, man. That's why I be telling you, brothers, put some respect on our women, man. Our women were always fierce leaders. Our women was always fierce warriors. Our women were not made to be Susie homemakers. That's the white woman. The melanated woman ran societies. The melanated woman was queens, homie. They was queens for real. They ran societies. They were not like the white counterparts. That's what slavery did. Slavery taught y'all how to treat the black woman the way the white man treat the white woman. The white woman had to know her place and stay in the kitchen. That's why we having so much issues with our women, because we keep trying to force our women into a role that don't fit them. Our women are fierce. But when you lead with respect and intelligence, a woman will always give you that proper respect. A woman will always be submissive to somebody she's got the proper respect for. You just got to find the right one, homie. You just got to find the right one. That's on you. I ain't telling you every woman go be submissive and go listen to you, but if you find the right one, she will allow you to lead if she respect your leadership. Because a lot of times these women be better leaders than some of these men. That's just the truth. A lot of times these women be better leaders than some of these men because they are disciplined, right? They lead, they are compassionate, they're intelligent. So, you know, our women ain't never been no Susie Q homemakers. And that's why y'all need to hear the story of Queen Tiamat. Okay? She was a council member. She was a Vega and council member, Queen Tiamat. And what did I tell y'all about Vega? Who did I tell y'all was the first inhabitants of the planet Vega? Who did I tell y'all was the first inhabitants of the planet Vega? What people? There you go. And that's why she is illustrated as as melanated reptilians. Okay? So, and I want y'all to know when we talk about reptilians, you can have reptilian genetics and not look like Draco. We need to understand that too, okay? You can have, actually, all y'all got reptilian genetics. I want y'all to understand that. Us as black folks, we absolutely have reptilian genetics, okay? We absolutely have reptilian genetics. That's why a portion of our brain is called the reptilian portion of the brain. Okay, this is why in the early stage, in the early embryonic stages, the embryo looks like a fucking reptilian, looks like an amphibian. Okay, so what I want y'all to understand is, you know, you can be of reptilian genetics and not have the same features as a Draco reptilian. Okay. Caleb, we don't need no help, big dog. We don't need no help. This is a class, man. If you're not a class member, you got to go find you somewhere you can talk about this stuff at, all right? This is for my class, all right? I don't need no help. So anyway, y'all already know what to do. Handle your business. So anyway, Queen Tiamat is who they picked to lead the Galactic Federation of Planets, all right? These reptilians actually opposed the Siakar ruling elite. Leading this group was the beautiful Tiamat, the dragon queen of Orion. She saved the humans from defeat in a great battle in the vegan star system against the Draco. Okay? So y'all gotta know that when they blew up Avion, the war was still going on. There's a lot of war going on. It wasn't like they blew up Avion and that was the end of it. It was a lot of warring going on between the humans and the reptilians. So in one of these battles, the Queen Tiamat led the charge against the Draco reptilians. She saved the humans from defeat in a great battle in the vegan star system against the Draco. And for this alliance, she was respected and revered amongst many beings on many worlds. She became a star. She became a hero. She became a hero to many different beings. Okay? After this, there was a time of peace. In the peacetime, the newly formed Galactic Federation of Planets had to learn to live amongst one another despite their differences. This proved to be a challenge. So in an attempt to bring peace, it was suggested that a marital alliance takes place by the predominant races. So let me slow all this down, okay? So Queen Tiamat leads the humans to a victory. Okay, after that, there was a time of peace. In the time of peace, all these different beings had to figure out how they was going to live amongst each other. Because you remember, the human migration led to these humans, these humanoid Lyrans, to be on these different worlds amongst the different beings. Okay? So now everybody trying to figure out how we going to live with each other. We so different. We don't even know each other like that. How we going to live amongst each other? Okay? This proved to be a challenge. Okay, they had to figure out how they was going to live in peace amongst each other. So in an attempt to bring peace, it was suggested that a marital alliance take place by the predominant races, this being the reptilians and the humanoid Lyrans. So the two predominant races was the humanoid Lyrans and the reptilians. It was suggested that they merge. Okay, here we go. Are y'all following me? This is the birth of the Anunnaki. This is how we get the Anunnaki. And I want y'all to know something. We call them the Anunnaki. That's just a title that says from those who came from heaven to earth. The real name of the Anunnaki is the House of On, A-L-N. I want y'all to know that. The real name of the Anunnaki is the House of On, A-L-N. They are a royal house. It's a royal family. Okay? It's a royal family, the House of On, A-L-N. So it was suggested that they merge and basically interbreed so that they, basically, now they can be family. Now it's like family, okay? This suggested was accepted in the marriage between Queen Tiamat and Prince Tiberian of Lyra was set. Okay, so let me show y'all Prince Tiberian. So this would be Prince Tiberian. Okay? Half humanoid Lyra. Queen Tiamat and Prince Tiberian of Lyra was set to be wedded. So they can merge this humanoid Lyran race with this reptilian race. The Anunnaki is a mix of humanoid Lyrans and reptilians. The Anunnaki is a hybrid group. Okay? As a wedding gift, listen to this. Listen to this. As a wedding gift, Tiberian gave Tiamat a planet. The planet that used to be called Maldek was renamed Tiamat after the queen. Guess what, gang? This is the planet that would later become our Earth. Earth used to be a planet called Tiamat. All right, for all my new folks, for the folks that's new. Earth used to be a planet called Tiamat. It was much bigger than what we have now. We live on half of what's left of Tiamat. Okay? Have y'all ever heard that name? Tiamat, do that name sound familiar to y'all in any way? Give me some threes in the chat if the name Tiamat sounds familiar to you. That is the former name. And listen, they still call it Tiamat. We called it Earth. It's called Earth after Enki. Enki name was EA. Okay? So the name Earth came from has something to do with Enki. Okay? But I'm sure they still call this planet Tiamat. Now I want y'all to put that in your pocket because we're gonna validate that when we get into reading from the Sumerian tablets. When we read from the Sumerian tablets, you will understand the whole Tiamat thing. You're gonna understand it clearly. Okay? So as a wedding gift, that boy Tiberian was balling. You know Tiberian was balling. Tiberian gave Tiamat a whole world. Now let me show y'all something. He literally gave her the world. How many times we done saying to our women, ooh, baby, I give you the world, baby. I give you the world, the moon, and the star. This nigga Tiberian literally gave his old lady the world. Nigga, I ain't trying to compete with Tiberian. You think I'm out here trying to compete with that? You can have my woman, Tiberian. You can have her. I can't compete with that. So he gave that woman a whole world. For real. Tiberian, man. Real boss. A real boss out here, man. All right. So Tiberian gifted her Maldek. Maldek Somebody show that idiot the door. Some idiot up is in deck. Somebody show that idiot the door. Some idiot up is in here. You know, it's always some idiot looking for somewhere to hang out because they ain't got nowhere to hang out. Mello, you just mad because you ain't got nowhere to hang out. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about you. What fantasy world is this? It's the world that exists outside of baby brains. That's what it is. It's the intelligent world. That's what's so funny about baby brains. They literally be thinking that they smart. Like, baby brains be thinking they intelligent as hell, bro. It's funny. Anyway, from this union, a new form of hybrid was birthed. From this union of Tiberian and Queen Tiamat. Okay, so you already see that they named the planet after her. The planet was named after her. So come on now. And guys, before I got this information, I knew about the name Tiamat. So the name Tiamat and this information came from two totally different sources. So actually, that's been validated. From this union of Lyrians and Reptilians, a new form of hybrid was birthed. Half humanoid Lyrians, half reptilian beings that we would come to know as the Anunnaki. So let me say that again. From this union of Lyran and Reptilians, a new form of hybrid was birthed. Half humanoid Lyran, half reptilian beings that we would come to know as the Anunnaki. These folks. These people that we call the Anunnaki. Okay? This is how they were created. So not only am I giving you the creation story of Earth, I just gave you the creation story of the Anunnaki. This is how the Anunnaki was born. Okay? Half humanoid Lyran, half reptilian beings that we would come to know as the Anunnaki. They were royal hybrid births from the womb of Queen Tiamat and other reptilian women. These hybrid numbers would grow as all successful creation does. Now we have pure humanoid Lyrans, pure reptilians, and the beings with shared ancestry trying to coexist. So when you're dealing with the Anunnaki has allegiance to their reptilian side and they have allegiance to their human side. Okay? And we do too. Because we were made in their image. Let us create man in our image. Okay? This would eventually become problematic for the purebloods who didn't respect being ruled by half-breeds. Okay, now here we go. This is what caused war to break out again. Another war broke out. This time a war broke out because some of the purebreds didn't want to be ruled over by hybrids. Okay, so imagine being a pure reptilian is basically saying, hey man, I'm not going to let somebody rule over me that's only half reptilian. So as a result of this, the ruling house of On had to find their own planetary body to inhabit. And that's when they went to the Sirius system. That is when they went to Sirius. This constant infighting led to the royal hybrids to leave Orion for a world in Sirius, a place of their own. In Sirius is where they would inhabit a planet that they called Nibiru. All right, so we all know the Anunnaki is from Nibiru. All right, and this is where we will begin. All right, when we come back, when we reconvene for class, we're gonna reconvene with this information about the Anunnaki and this war that caused the Anunnaki to need to leave their home. All right? Y'all give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right. Sorry about that. All right, gang. Sorry about that. So that's what we're gonna pick up when we return, okay? So now we understand that there was a process that led to all of this. This is what they're not telling us, gang. That's why I be telling y'all, when you're dealing with the story of Earth, man, they leave y'all with so many question marks. So many question marks, all right? So all I'm doing is trying to fill in the blanks and showing folks that it's more to our story than what we have been given. Guys, we are a part of a much bigger collective. We are part of a much bigger story, and these people trying to keep us in a box. Okay, that's the whole purpose of these reptilians, these Draco reptilians' role on this earth is to keep us in a lower vibrational state and to keep us from accessing the truth. Because once we access the truth, y'all know what's gonna happen. Nah, that ain't my folks. You know, y'all know what to do. If you're not a member, guys, you're gonna get blocked up out of here. I wouldn't be up in here doing too much. You need to become a member. Right? If you ain't a part of my team, you need to go build your own team. If you're not a part of my team, you need to build your own team. I'm just letting you know. I don't know why folk be want to come up in here and post up. You know what I mean? I got too much content out here. I got so much content out here dealing with this stuff. You know what I'm about at this point. If you want to join our team, you got the opportunity to do so. But if you're not a part of our team, don't come up in the live. Okay? We ain't looking for randoms. All right? So yeah, guys, I'm grateful that I was able to get that information out. I'm so sorry that we had to get blocked 92,000 times in order to do so. But at least I know that y'all getting an understanding on how all of this stuff unfolded. Okay, you can clearly see that the catalyst of this is the humans and the reptilians. Okay, and we are still engaged in this war to this day. This is the silent war. This is the quiet war that I be telling y'all about. Okay, and we're gonna continue to build on this. We're gonna be leading up. We're getting ready to start reading from the Sumerian tablets. So this is what the course is about, right? This is the first portion of the course. The second portion of the course deals with reading from the Sumerian tablets translation. That's the actual information that the Anunnaki left on Earth for us to discover about what they did while they were here. Everybody understand that? Give me a 3 in the chat if you understand that the Anunnaki actually left a tell-all book about what they did on Earth. So while y'all running around here thinking that the Bible is the word of God, the Bible is nothing more than the information left behind by the Anunnaki to explain what took place in their time on the earth. The people that they genetically altered and the things and the events that preceded that. That's what the biblical events are. There's no spirituality in the Bible. There's only history. There's only history and advice. You know what I'm saying? They give you some advisement in Proverbs, but most of it is all history. Okay, the history of the first peoples. All right. So we're gonna get into this thing some more. Tomorrow I'm just gonna do a fun class. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna talk about some different. I'm gonna kind of do like a community talk tomorrow. We're just gonna have some fun, and then when we return. We're going to get into the Anunnaki, okay? So when I return next week, whether it be Monday or Tuesday, we're going to start building on the Anunnaki, all right? So if we got any questions, feel free, gang. Feel free if you want to let any questions ride. But other than that, we're going to vibe it out. And, you know, hopefully, man, we can catch somebody, get a good match in, because we got a good streak going on this page, all right? So hopefully, we can beat somebody up before we get up out of here. But if you got any questions, feel free. I want to give you a chance to get your questions answered. All right. So
Bluetooth connected.
If you are rocking with us, feel free. All right. All right. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? No, I don't know. Hold on. Before I say that, we do know that. We do know that. What's up? What's up? You want to run a match? We actually do know that, my bro.
You see, what the fuck?
We actually do know that. Sis, I'm not trying to holler. We just trying to run a match, all right? I don't know what y'all got going on. We just trying to run a match, right? All that weird shit. Hey, Jay Swing, they not different creatures. They actually are the reptilians of Earth. They just like the reptilians of Earth. They just are evolved into humanoid. So yeah, they definitely have a heart. They definitely have a heart. Okay, but they're just like the reptilians of Earth. I'm sorry. Okay, you didn't hear me? Okay. They're just like the reptilians of Earth. They just were evolved into humanoid. So they absolutely have a heart. They pretty much, whatever anatomy an alligator has, that's what anatomy they have. Whatever anatomy you see on the alligator is the same anatomy on the reptoids. Yeah, Sitchin got the best translation. Sitchin did the best work. Sitchin did the most honest work. And I'm gonna explain that to y'all. That's gonna be on Monday. On Monday or Tuesday, we're gonna do a class where we explain why we respect Zechariah Sitchin's translation, because he didn't have an agenda. Zechariah Sitchin, man, wait till Monday. I'm gonna break all that down to y'all. I'm gonna show y'all why I respect Zechariah Sitchin's translations as opposed to all the people that's opposing him. Now, keep in mind that they had this Sumerian tablets since the mid 1800s, right? But ain't nobody want to come out about what the translations actually said until Sitchin said something. Because you know why? Because you was never supposed to hear the truth. The people that control them institutions of science and information, they never wanted y'all to hear about this shit. Sitchin, they was mad at Zechariah Sitchin. It's like, nigga, what you doing? Why are you telling them people? So what they did was they tried to discredit Zechariah Sitchin because he was the one that came out and told the truth. Now, on Monday or Tuesday, when I get back, we're going to break all of that down. Okay, so we're gonna get into why the Sumerian translations, why Zechariah Sitchin's translation is the most truthful, the most valid. We're gonna talk about all of that. All right. So yeah, it's going down. It's going down. If we got any more questions, feel free, guys. We just like